Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on the YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined by Robert Meyer Burnett. And this is kind of the more laid-back, relaxed version of the show. We're going to be sitting here taking your comments, questions, thoughts, theories, opinions. That's what Open Mic is. It's just the entire, usually what is the second half of the John Campea show, but that's all we're going to do here. Rob, you weren't in this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well today. I have to say, John, I mean, I know it's something that we all know, but damn, is it hot outside. I mean, it's a scorcher. My dogs are mad at me. I'm like, hey, it's not my fault.
It's ridiculously hot. And I've already got my Canadian sensibilities, so I don't do well with heat in general. This heat is ridiculous.
Apparently, it's going to break by the weekend.
Or just after the weekend. I think we're supposed to get some thunderstorms on Saturday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, get some rain in here too. Anyway, guys, we hope you are having a fantastic week so far. And it is really good to have you guys here joining us. And so here's what we're going to do. We are going to discuss just a little bit about D23, which is coming up this weekend, which we may or may not be going to.
Yes.
We have press credentials, but right now we have no assurances that we'll be able to get into the actual presentation, the Saturday morning presentation. So I'm like, we're reading through all the literature they sent us about that, and I'm like, why the hell would I go all the way to Anaheim? And if we don't know for fact that we can get into the presentation, like it's absolute bullshit, the clown show they're running over there. It's ridiculous
to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. So unless we can, in the next like 24 or 48 hours or so, find out that, yes, you can get into the presentation, which is the whole reason why we're going, I think we may skip. I think I'm going to cancel the hotels and we'll just skip it.
We have no guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of going for press if you can't get into the event you're supposed to cover?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I cannot wait to not cover Disney stuff anymore. I'm actually really excited about never covering Disney stuff again. I'm so over Disney, even though I really love their content. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about you, but we're going to talk a little bit about D23, whether we're there with boots on the ground, talking about the event, or whether we're going to be sitting comfortably home in our air-conditioned rooms and just getting the Twitter feed off everybody and stuff. We're here to talk about that. So, Rob, one of the things we talked about this morning was that I had heard a couple of months ago, and I remember you and I chatted about this a little bit. I had heard a couple of months ago that Free Guys Jody Comer was probably going to end up being Sue Storm. But the problem with that, of course, is that I had heard from a lot of different people, a lot of different names. So we never talked about it because who knows any of those.
I like that casting though.
Then I heard again a little while ago, it got brought up to me again with a different person. And then yesterday I talked to another person in our field who had heard from their sources the exact same thing. So I said on the John Campea show this morning, do not take this as any kind of guarantee because I wouldn't, but if we all got to make a call, like make a call, who's, is it going to be heads or tails? I said this morning, I'll call it. Jody is going to be our Sue Storm. I mean, if I had to put $5 on it, I wouldn't put $100 on it, and neither should you. Do not take this as any kind of a guarantee. But I feel like it looks like all signs at this point are pointing to that. If it does, and that's a big if, but if it does turn out being her, what would you think about her? Because you weren't here this morning to talk about that.
I'm a huge fan of hers. It kind of got a bad rap. I thought Ridley Scott's The Last Duel was
so good in that.
Yeah, I thought it was a great film. And it got passed over, and I think that I even think it's in maybe top 10 of Ridley Scott's entire oeuvre, and she was marvelous in that movie. She's a movie star. And you could tell that when she was playing. I always want to say Villeneuve, like Denis Villeneuve, but that's not her name in the show. Villain, what's her name? Villa something. I thought she was so good in that show. I mean, the way her mastery of accents, like if you see her on Graham Norton, the way she can just jump in and out of accents.
I never saw her on Graham Norton.
Oh, she's incredible. And she's a total star. I mean, it's funny because I can't wait to see her and Florence Pugh play sisters. I mean, she wasn't really Scarlett Johansson's biological sister in Black Widow, but she could totally play Florence Pugh's sister in a movie. Like the two of them, I don't know what they're going to do. Kick ass, be assassins, I don't know. But I want to see, maybe they'll rob a bank. But I love her. I think she's great. And as Sue Storm, she's perfect casting. And you know, she's not at her zenith yet. She's still on the rise.
Oh yeah, no, she's going to be getting better for the next decade.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting her now, I think is a great move.
Now, if it is,
If it's true,
then that raises the interesting question too, because like you obviously Sue Storm does not come in a vacuum. Sue Storm has to come with a Reed Richards
and a Johnny Storm.
And a Johnny Storm, but I'm more interested because Johnny Storm, you don't have to cast Johnny Storm with how well they play off of Sue.
Right.
You do have to cast Reed and Sue with also what their on-screen chemistry is going to be, how good can they play off each other, how do they straight up just look together, all that kind of stuff, right? Like that's more, I think the Reed to Sue thing is more important. So does this, if it is Jody, and again, huge if, no guarantee. But if it is Jody, does that narrow the field in your head at all to who could end up being our Reed Richards?
Well, I mean, you got to look if they go with the married route, you know, if they're a married couple, did she marry like an older dude? Because isn't she still in her 20s? Like her late 20s?
I'm not really sure, but they could say she's any age.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, you can't cast somebody who's like 48.
We can say he was her professor.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I think that, look, to me, Reed Richards, his distinguishing features, you know, his gray hair. To me, he's not an elder statesman, but he's an adult.
Yeah.
So, and look, Jodie's a great actress, so she could play whatever age you want her to be. Age her up if you want. But I think, yeah, I mean, you've got to, George Clooney can't be Reed Richards.
No, I don't see.
He's too old.
Yeah, but I don't think getting anybody that age to start this new franchise.
Yeah, although they might cast somebody who's in his mid 30s and age them up.
That I can totally see. Yeah,
yeah, and you, because I don't necessarily think it would be bad to go a little younger, because you know they're going to be there for a decade at least.
I mean, what I don't want to see is the Fantastic Four babies. That kind of what they try to go for in the Josh Trank version. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I didn't mind that. What they decided to do there, I ended up being totally fine with it. But you know what? Somebody tried that. So now go with adults.
Right.
Go with adults.
These are established scientists.
Yeah.
You know, Reed Richards, he got his PhD. He's a world-renowned scientist, one of the great minds of probably only second to Shuri over in Wakanda. So, and he has to have gravitas. Whoever he is, whether he's cast young or old, he has to have that gravitas.
Well, that dude, Chris reminded me of his name earlier today, but the dude from You.
Right.
Ken Badgley.
Yeah.
Badgley? Yeah, Badgley. So, I mean, again, that's, with Jody, I mean, that could work.
Could work. Although, he doesn't have that gravitas, though.
You don't think so?
It depends. I mean, maybe he could play it. Actors after all have
to act.
So he could play it with that gravitas. But I guess because I like him in You. I like that show, but he's a psycho killer, you know, and it would be hard for me to see him as Reed Richards. But if he's a good actor, he will convince you in the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes. If he's a good actor.
And the thing is, look, if nothing else, the MCU, for the most part, they've cast wonderful people.
Yeah, they've always done a good job.
They've nailed it for the most part. And I expect to see Jonathan clicking on the Brie Larson picture going, you know. But I actually even like Brie Larson. A lot of people didn't. I liked her as Captain Marvel.
I think she's great as Captain Marvel.
And I think that they've done a phenomenal job. So if they pick him, they've seen him be Reed Richards. They've seen the gravitas. So I trust. I don't know if we're going to be sitting in the room when they bring them out on stage, but it could be a good match.
Well, we'll talk more about this over the coming days, but just since we're on the topic right now, have you had any other thoughts going into D23? Like, I think we are all in agreement. Fantastic Four is going to be announced.
For sure.
I think we're all in agreement. Deadpool 3 is getting announced.
I think so too.
Have there any else come across your mind that you think is pretty much in your own, obviously nothing's guaranteed, but in your own head would think is a lock?
I think they have to address the X-Men. However they're going to do that, because if they announce Deadpool, there's a connection there. I mean, we saw the X-Men First Class X-Men in Deadpool. He opens the door. There's the X-Men there. Colossus, you know, if you have Deadpool, he is a mutant now, considered a mutant.
So have you changed your mind on this? Because we talked about this a few days ago, and I thought at the time, we both kind of said, you know what? I think they're going to keep something in their pocket until after Secret Wars. And we kind of thought X-Men was that. Have you had a change of heart on that?
No, I don't necessarily think they're going to announce the X-Men, but I think they're going to point us in a direction.
Okay.
Somehow. Now, if they announce Deadpool 3, they've got to do, because the X-Men have peripherally been secondary characters in those movies. You saw X-Force, sort of, but I mean that
X-Force and Deadpool 2 is one of the greatest things ever in cinematic history.
Juggernaut is Xavier's brother, and so we've had X-Men in those movies. So you can't. How do you do Deadpool without the X-Men? They've got to do something.
Listen,
they?
I think
Cable.
I think it would be folly for us to take anything in Deadpool seriously.
That's true.
That if they did it in Deadpool, like, I don't think there's very much chance that we are going to get the Colossus in Deadpool as the Colossus in the proper X-Men. So I don't know if we can count on anything in that.
I do think
maybe though.
I do think if they do announce any X-Men property, it's going to be Wolverine.
Yeah, I agree. I think if and I don't think they will announce any X-Men property, but if they do, I'm 100% with you on that. I think that one is going to be Wolverine.
That's
all right,
going to
guys.
be our way in.
It could be. All right, guys. We are now going to spend the rest of our show doing what we are here to do. It is open mic, and so we want to hear from you guys. We had opened up the super chats. Unfortunately, they're not open anymore because, as always, you guys filled it up pretty damn fast. But we are now here to address those ones that came in. So, Rob, we're going to go over to you in a second to read those off. But before we do, we want to thank a sponsor of our channel here this week, our friends over at DraftKings. Guys, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of today's video, DraftKings. Now, guys, you know I am a huge sports fan, and football fans, the first Sunday of the NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on an NFL team to win, and if your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly even if your team goes on to lose. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code Campea to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's promo code Campea only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And thank you to our friends at DraftKings for sponsoring this episode here on the channel. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into the questions you guys have been sending in. So, Rob, take it away.
All right, let's see what we got. Motassim says, is this the She-Hulk pregame show? Are spoilers okay? Now, did we do James Wheeler?
That was earlier today.
Okay, so thanks for that, James.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, well, spoilers. We're talking about last week's episode. So, there are no spoilers anymore. But yeah, if you've got a thought, theory, question, or opinion about She-Hulk, you can go ahead and send those in too. All right, what's next?
Gabriel Baker says, hey, Rob, is there a right time to buy Hot Toys? Do prices ever go down?
Nope.
Looking at a $425 Marvel figure, and I would love some guidance on when to buy. Look, there's a lot of, they never go down. You know, unless they're re-released, and still they hardly ever go down. They're almost as good of an investment as real estate, but not quite. I would say that the best time to buy them is whenever you want them. Buy them before they come out. That way they can't go down. But there are places, there are retailers like Toys Wonderland where you can find, sometimes they have good prices. They're having a summer sale. There's a lot of great deals to be had. So look around. And also on the secondary market, there are people that sometimes you can buy them from eBay and get deals.
All right, what's next?
Flover99 says, hi, John. Is Rings of Power a divisive show like Batman v Superman and The Last Jedi?
No, there are some people out there who want to try to pretend and convince you that it is, but it's not. The vast majority of people are enjoying the show. And look, there are people like myself who watched, I'll just talk about the first episode. There are people like myself who just watched the first episode and just didn't care for it. There just are, and that's perfectly fine. Then there are segments out there who long in advance planned, organized, and all that kind of stuff that they were going to try to hate down the show as much as they can because, oh somebody who's black, is in the show, and they're very easily identifiable. But the show is not nearly as quote unquote divisive as a very small, screaming, crying, annoying baby on an airplane flight would like to convince you that they are. And again, listen, there are legitimately just people out there, some like myself, who just didn't like one or both of the first two episodes. Yeah, but from everything that I've read, vast majority wise, the general movie audience, not the people who populate and spam bot everything that's the online stuff or review bomb things. But in the general audience, they seem to be pretty much enjoying it more than I did. So I'm just waiting for episode 3. I just need episode 3 to be more like episode 2 than it was episode 1. Because if it goes back to feeling like episode 1, this is a show that could lose me by episode 4 or 5.
As you pointed out, though, episode 2 was significantly quicker.
It was a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction. And episode 3 could be even better.
I hope so. I mean, if that's a trajectory, 2 episodes isn't a trajectory. Like the next episode could be the worst yet. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes. And we'll know in a few days.
All right. What's next?
Hitchcock is the GOAT. First, it's teenage Alicent. Then Viserys walks with a 12-year-old. Now Otto suggests a 2-year-old for Nera. What's next week? An ultrasound?
Okay. That's good. That's good. I like. Yeah, I mean, hey man, it's that world. It's not our world. It's a different. It's not even a different time. It's a different world. So yeah, when that got brought up, like, what about marrying his sister? Like what? Like, take the 2-year-old part out of it for a second.
Yeah,
both are bad enough on their own. 2-year-old sibling, 2-year-old sibling. It just gets worse and worse.
It's not good.
No. All right, what's next?
Iconic reactions. Okay, what if Secret Invasion isn't just about the Skrulls being known, but mutant kind is finally going to become public, and we find out there's people we've seen who are mutants and don't even know it?
What's the question?
Yeah, that's
like,
I would say.
Just as you want to remind everybody, when you start off a question with the words "what if," then you got to have a question in there somewhere. Anyway, so I would say this: the whole idea that mutants have been here the whole time is one that I don't think makes any sense. Because unless you're going to say mutants is actually 30 or 40 people, there are 30 or 40 mutants out there. That's it. Okay, yeah, then 30 or 40, you can keep maybe that hidden. But in a world where there are hundreds or thousands of mutants, that it's just the natural part of evolution, they become that. And in X-Men lore, when a kid hits puberty, young teenage years, and hits puberty, their powers manifest. There's no way to keep that secret.
Right.
It happens. So I don't generally like the idea. Now, the whole idea, though, Rob, about maybe swapping out the idea of the aliens for mutants, there might be a way to do that, but just the general premise that they've been here the whole time, we just didn't know it, I find that very difficult. That's a big stretch, unless, again, of course, you say mutants are actually only 15 people or 20 people.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of know a little bit of something about this. The Secret Invasion show is a spy thriller kind of a show. And I don't think that they're going to deal with the mutant issue, because the mutant issue is a huge deal. And it's not going to be, I mean, I was surprised, to be honest, that they brought it up in Miss Marvel. I understand why they did, but I was surprised they even touched on it.
Shocked.
And I can say that what Secret Invasion is doing as a show, they're doing a lot already. So I wouldn't expect them to be touching on the mutant issue. I think when they're doing it, it's going to be in a big way. I don't know how it's going to be, but it's not like you said 15 mutants or no, it's more than that. That's a big deal. I don't know what that big deal is going to be. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they've figured it out already. Like, they know. The MCU, Kevin Feige and his merry band of ne'er-do-wells over there at Marvel, they know what they're doing.
See, the best theory I have heard yet, because I have never been able to come up with a theory that checks all the boxes and makes total sense. Every idea I've heard, none of them line up completely, and all of them have big gaps in logic, including all the ones I've come up with. The best theory I heard, and I think I remember when it came up, you and I kind of did an was I think the best way they could have done it, theoretically, is with Scarlet Witch doing a reverse House of M, right? Where Scarlet Witch says, bring forth, instead of no more mutants, bring forth the mutants or something like that. And now the world has changed and the mutants are here. I'm not saying that's a perfect idea, but it's the one to me that became closest to checking all the boxes.
Dude, what if at D23 they announced House of M?
Oh my God.
What if that's their... I just got chills just saying that. After hearing you say, and they announce House of M. And that's, they bring out...
Yeah. If that's one of the things that come out, like say before Secret Wars, because remember, the Phase 6 lineup they gave us at Comic-Con, it has a lot of empty gaps in there to fill.
Yeah.
Wolverine... I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I love the idea.
Wolverine is first, and it leads into House of M.
I mean, I don't think they're going to do it, but yes, I would like that very, very, very much. All right, what's next?
Well, of course, the system froze, so things got out of order. We're just going to start from... We did
Hitchcock's
so
ago.
I believe we've done this one.
Yes.
We've done this one.
Yeah, we did that one.
We did that one too.
Yep.
Those are the first ones.
I don't think we've done this one.
No, those are the only ones we have got to, so we haven't missed out anything. Hero75 says, I'm hoping with the amount of views Prey got that we get an announcement that Prey 2 is in development at D23.
I'm not expecting it.
No,
I'm not expecting it. And listen, you guys saw my out of theater reaction on Prey when I went to go. I got to see it in a theater, which is pretty cool. When I came out of it, I loved the film, absolutely loved it. But there's simply no need for there to be another one. And here's the thing. You're not going to put a lot of money, although, they made this one for fairly inexpensive for what it was. If they could do that again for Hulu, like if Hulu wants to greenlight that kind of money, maybe they could. I don't see them putting it in cinemas, again, because I just don't see it making a lot of money at the cinema. Like a lot of people complain, Prey should have been in theaters. Hey, listen, you know me, put everything in theaters guy. That's me. But I understood why they didn't, because the Predator franchise name is kind of garbage. And so like at the moment, especially with the recent offerings they had. So I think they probably knew you put this out into theaters, isn't nobody going to go see it. So let's get some advantage out of it, at least try to get some advantage out of Hulu. And it worked real well for them there. I don't see them doing a second one, though. I mean, I would love to be wrong about that, but I don't see it. Can you see them announcing?
No, but ninjas. Come on.
I like the idea of samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to that. Go to that era of time. Go back to one of the dynasties.
And they shoot it in Japanese.
Or, yeah.
It'd just be great.
Or Chinese. All right. What's next?
The Sock says, took almost a year, but I finally got my Soba Mask Sanji figure by Mega House. It's about 8.5 inches. It was $229. Mega House is a Japanese company that does a lot of small run things. I have a few Mega House pieces myself, not that. Congratulations. That's a nice piece.
All right.
Waiting for all that time. Connor Stevens says, thanks to Rob, I am now a huge fan of The Question. I recently got the omnibus and now I'm obsessed. I would love it if HBO made it into a series. The Question is a DC Comics character that was brought over from Charlton, the Charlton characters. And when they did Watchmen, John, Alan Moore wanted to use the actual Charlton characters, but DC said, no, you can't. And so he turned The Question into Rorschach.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And so like Dr. Manhattan was going to be Captain Atom, who's now, but by the way, I was in our local comic book store and I saw that omnibus and I didn't even know that it had come out. I got to get that because it's Dennis Cowan and Denny O'Neil. I loved that series when it first came out. I mean, with the DC, it's been around for a lot longer, but I don't think it's that run, is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's a great looking omnibus. I need to get it.
All right, what's next?
Hero75 says, would it be too soon after Comic-Con to get another Black Panther 2 trailer at D23? One with a good look at a new suit or Namor himself? Dude, I'm sure they're going to have a new trailer.
I have very little doubt there's going to be a new Black Panther trailer.
Yeah.
Listen, I've heard no word from anybody that there's going to be. But I mean, we're in September now. We're 2 months out. I think they could very well drop another trailer at D23. I mean, listen, they want D23 to blow the doors off of anything that happens at Comic-Con, even their own stuff at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. I will come out a little bit surprised if there's no Black Panther 2 trailer.
And I think we're going to get a new Andor trailer.
Oh, yeah. They'll definitely get some more Andor promo.
And the more they show of that, the better it looks.
Dude, if I know you didn't have a chance to, but when you go to see Rogue One, when they re-released it back in IMAX last week, and they showed like 10, 15 minutes of it. It was awesome. I cannot wait for Andor. It's going to be so good. All right,
good.
What's next?
Mexican drug lord says, do you think David Zaslav is getting too much hate? You said before that it's easy to cut what doesn't work, but it's harder to build something great.
Yeah, and it takes longer to build something great. I mean, yeah, I think, honestly, this is just my opinion. I think there are a lot of short-sighted people out there. It's like you know, I bring this up again. I kind of laugh at the hypocrisy a lot. This whole thing, like all of a sudden everybody was all precious on Batgirl. And honestly, I think it's mostly because most people just wanted to hate on anything Warner Brothers or whatever. But the reality was we had all heard it was terrible. Even when they did their funeral screening of it, people came out and said, yeah, it's basically an expensive CW show. I mean, whatever. But here's the thing. Everybody got all precious about it. People writing in, oh, the poor filmmakers. Oh, the people who work so hard on it. You know what? They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a Game of Thrones spinoff show, put hundreds of millions of dollars. Naomi Watts was starring in it. They flew to Europe, filmed the whole thing there, got on the pilot, and then they canceled it. And nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. You know why? Because everybody thought common sense. They thought, well, if they shot it and it wasn't working, pull the plug on it. That's the common sense way to think about it. And then the Batgirl thing happened. And all of a sudden, everybody's all precious about it. It's like as if that didn't happen every day in Hollywood. Every day projects get greenlit and then suddenly they're canceled. Not often once they get through to the end of a production. Absolutely not. That was kind of a new thing. Totally. So the thing with David Zaslav is he's been doing, and people say, John, why are you so positive on David Zaslav? Because he's doing all the things I've said for years they need to do. If you had a list of everything you thought Paramount needed to do, like let's say you had this big long list as a fan and you thought these are all the things Paramount needed to do, and then all of a sudden a new head of Paramount came in and did all the things you thought they should do, you would think they're doing a good job. And that's why I think Zaslav is doing a good job. But you're absolutely right. It's one thing to cut away the chaff, to say, listen, these shows don't work. We're not going to spend money on garbage that's going to just ruin our reputation. That movie's not good enough. We're not going to put it out. It's easier to do that. I mean, it takes some balls, and Zaslav's got balls. It takes some balls to do it, but the harder thing is building something. It's also quicker to cut things than it is to build. And that's why I always say, we won't really know how quote unquote good of a job David Zaslav is doing for 2 to 3 years. That's how long it's going to take us to really feel the effects, other than the instant culling of getting away of the dead weight. But it's going to take us 2 to 3 years because it takes time to build.
Agreed.
And then who knows? Like so far, I think he's doing a good job. But I was pretty big on Bob Chapek when he started his job too.
But also,
look how I feel about it now.
The fact that he's elevated House Party and the new Evil Dead Rises, to theatrical,
and Blue Beetle.
And Blue Beetle. That's a flip side. That's by the way, you mentioned Paramount. This is totally apropos of nothing. Mark Mayron, who's starting Glow, he has his own podcast.
Yeah.
He has Al Ruddy on.
Really?
The subject of The Offer.
And like Marin had Obama on. Like he gets everybody.
He gets everybody. Al Ruddy. Now, I haven't heard that. I just was told that as I was driving here to do the show today. I'm like, dude, Al Ruddy. A friend of mine made shirts that say produced by Al Ruddy. I got to order one.
But I mean, look, even like animation, right? Like, so he cut some of the, by the way, they didn't cancel any of those animation things. They just said, these aren't going to go to HBO. We're still going to produce them. Then everybody said, oh, they're totally anti-animation. It's like, and I said at the time, I said, no, it's just that those shows don't fit in with what they're trying to make their identity. That got doubled down on when we found out that they did greenlight Harley Quinn the next season. So you see, like, it's not that they're anti-animation. They just want animation that is going to fit with what their identity is.
Which is more of an adult
thing kind of thing. Yeah. So, but listen, yeah, everybody jumps on bandwagons. I think everybody is super short-sighted, is being really, really short-sighted on this. And, you know, in a couple of years, we'll find out. We'll know. But right now, I think he's doing all the things that need to be done to get Warner Brothers back into a healthier place. That's just my take on it, at any rate.
And we'll see. Proof will be in the pudding.
What's next?
Iconic Reaction says, okay, what if Secret Invasion? Oh, wait.
I think that might be one that we did.
Yeah, that one we got.
Okay. That we did. Dangerous Lee says, John, over under 35%. Disney not only announces an X-Men movie, but introduces the director and the main cast.
I'll give you 0. I'll go. Okay. I'll go flat out 0. Like mention X-Men, maybe. A Wolverine project, on the outskirts of possibility, but if anything, I think it's going to be that. An actual X-Men movie, cast, director. I don't see that happening until after Secret Wars is done.
You couldn't keep that a secret either. If they've already hired a director.
The news would have been out there.
That would have been
crazy.
huge
and
news.
cast and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no way. So I'll go a full goose egg on that. I'll go with 0. All right, what's next?
Toshi Victor says the highway scene is the best action set piece, partially because Neo is not in it until the end, thus giving the audience some needed tension. Are you talking about the Matrix Reloaded?
Yeah, the Matrix Reloaded.
By the way, that scene is dope.
And if you ever watch some behind the scenes about how they shot that scene, they literally built a highway.
They built a highway, a 2-mile long stretch of road.
Built a highway
in Northern California.
It is I don't have it in my top 10 action sequences of all time. I don't even think I have it in my top 3 action sequences of the Matrix franchise. But it's a wonderful scene.
Oh man.
And the work they put into bringing that to life, it's fantastic.
And one of my favorite bands, Juno Reactor, the name of the music, that piece of music is called Mona Lisa Overdrive, which is the
great name.
Great name. And that's based on a book that William Gibson wrote, who basically coined the phrase cyberspace. But Mona Lisa Overdrive is another euphemism for orgasm, a female orgasm.
Now listen,
and that whole scene is orgasmic.
I actually like Matrix Reloaded more than most people do. I still think it's a step down from the first film.
I do too, but I'm right there with you.
I mean, Seraph, I love like the character, and then like everybody else, I thought 3 was a train wreck.
Yeah,
but I like part 2.
There's a lot of great stuff in part 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And that
Monica Bellucci being one of them.
Yeah, and the Merovingian.
Right. The Merovingian is such a terrible. And what was the newest Matrix called again?
Matrix Resurrection.
Was it Matrix Resurrection?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Merovingian thing is like some panhandler.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was such a great character. Anyway, all right,
great.
What's next?
Dakota Kolar says, first time being able to write into your show. I just want to say my boyfriend introduced me to your show way back in the AMC days.
Nice.
I enjoy the show so much. Have a good time at D23.
If we go to D23,
well, Dakota,
that would be
from your mouth to God's ears.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you to your boyfriend for being an evangelist for our programming and spreading the good word to it.
And welcome to the first live show you've watched.
Oh yeah, that's one of the good things about our 3 p.m. shows is that these are shows live streamed that a lot of people can't tune in live when we do the main John Campea show. So we're awfully glad that you're able to be here. That's great.
And I don't know if Dakota Kolar is like a euphemism, if it's, an online name, but that's a great name.
Oh, yeah.
Like I could see that being a character in like a spy thriller. I love that name. That's a great name.
All right, what's next?
Tim Platt says, speaking of She-Hulk, it hit me over the weekend that the reason why I'm entertained by Dennis now is he is a live action Zap Brannigan.
He really is.
Totally is.
He really, really is. This last episode made me actually love the character. Like the first episode, like everybody else. Like I like the first episode, but I'm like, that character, I'll be perfectly happy if we never see him on screen again. Now I want him to at least be in 5 minutes of every episode. Because you're right. He's a physical Zap Brannigan. And I'm like, yeah, I wanna see that.
Here's the thing. I watched it a second time with Elizabeth.
Episode 3?
Episode 3. She hadn't seen it yet. And she laughed hysterically. And when he said the whole bit about how he actually thought, how could you think that you were actually dating?
That you got Megan Thee Stallion.
She was laughing her ass off. She's like, how could he with that guy? It was just very funny watching Elizabeth watch that episode. So I think it's a lot funnier than people, the detractors from the show, they're just not enjoying. Come on. That show is exactly what it sets out to be. It's not like a show that disappoints you. Like, it's not got great. It is the She-Hulk that I wanted to see.
I was talking to a guy who's actually a really good friend of mine. I was talking to him online, and he's just like, it's just not moving the MCU forward for me. This show is not meant to move the MCU forward. Let's be very clear about that. That is not what this show is supposed to be. Like I'm sure absolutely Black Panther 2 is going to move the MCU forward. I'm sure Kang Dynasty is going to move the MCU forward. I'm sure a lot of those. This is not meant in the least to move the MCU forward.
But we do know that Megan Thee Stallion is actually in the MCU.
Now we know she's a real person in the MCU.
That's something.
It's good to know. All right, what's next?
Don Giovanni Fan Club says, Chris, since Lea Michele debuted Lea Michele is in Funny Girl on Broadway. Yeah. Yesterday, how mad are you? At least she has Ramin Campea as her leading man. Hire him, Hollywood, you cowards.
I know nothing of what we're talking about. I know Leah Michelle is from with the singing show.
Yeah, so
Glee. I know she's from Glee. I know she's now on Broadway. I know she apparently killed it. She did her debut. I saw the news headlines.
Beanie Feldstein was playing that part.
Okay.
And she left the role early for reasons. And so they've replaced her. And then last night was the first night. And many celebrities went and had a great time.
All right. Good to know. Good for her. All right. What's next?
So Alan Ling says, hey, guys, I'm going to go to D23, but didn't get into the Marvel panel. Thinking about lining up for it, but I'm not sure I want to get in line at 5 a.m. when the line opens up.
See, here's where I'm worried. This is where I'm worried. All right. D23, I've been reading some things online that kind of suggest that if you're just normal person going to D23, you've got your passes, that you have to have already been in a certain track to get in, and that there is no line again. I have no problem going to D23, Rob. If you and I got to stay up all night and go and get in line at 4 a.m, I'm okay with that. I am not adverse. Dude, I sat in line for 3 days in the winter in Canada for Star Wars The Phantom Menace first tickets.
How was that for you?
That was actually, we did it with a bunch of buddies. It was actually a lot of fun. We had a good time. But I have no problem doing that. But I'm afraid that that's not even going to be an option. And so I don't know. We're going to have to see. I got to make some calls today and find out. Like, I just got to make sure, because I am not going to D23 if we can't get in that presentation.
Yeah.
There's just no point in going.
I agree.
All right.
Plus, waiting in line, do you imagine we'd have to be talking the entire time to people?
Oh, God.
You say talking or twerking?
That too, whatever people would ask.
Hey, got to make your money, man.
Yeah, I
got to
mean-
make your money.
Make it rain. Make it rain.
All right. What's next?
The sock says, saw The Invitation. It was fine, kind of a lesser Ready or Not with vampires. A lot less kills than you expect. What I'm really excited for is Barbarian, which people are going to start seeing tomorrow.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
Uh-oh.
You know, Ann and I were looking at doing Barbarian. We wanted to go to Barbarian on Thursday, but there's two very big problems. Problem number one, the Bills are playing the LA Rams in the NFL opener game.
Yeah.
Problem number two, Rings of Power, episode 3 comes out. So it's like, I'm sorry. And at that list of 3 things, Barbarian takes third. And then I can't see it Friday, Saturday, or even probably Sunday, because Friday and Saturday we're going to be maybe at D23. Then Sunday I'll get back from D23, but I'm staying home because then House of the Dragon episode 4 is coming out. So earliest I'm going to be able to see Barbarian is Monday.
All I can say to people is you got to see it at the earliest possible convenience, because you don't want it spoiled.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Sam Fisher says, I think Rhaenyra marries Kristen Cole. I can't see or think of another reason for a Kingsguard character to be so prominent otherwise. You know what? I could see that happening, because probably so. When the stuff starts to go down, she's going to have to be protected. And why not make her husband her protector?
This is going to be a Paul Atreides situation where I think, and listen, I say this as somebody who has not read the books and never will. So like, I'm going to say this, and then 1,000 of you might instantly know, well, he's already wrong. But as just somebody who only watches the show, my thought is she's going to be in love with Kingsguard Boy. There is no way with the responsibilities of the crown, she's going to be allowed to marry him. I think she does marry Corliss's son to fix that, but maybe have Soldier Boy as her consort, maybe, or something like that. I say this thing, he's not read the books. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, obviously, Rhaenyra and her now stepbrother are going to be at odds for the kingdom. And I could see Corlys is going to be on Rhaenyra's side because he comes with Daemon. So I could see that marriage happening.
It could happen.
I think that's a very astute observation.
All right, what's next?
Richard K. says, I really like Sticky Fingers' version of Blade. I know I'm in the minority and Wesley's Blade, no doubt, but I did like Sticky Fingers and I didn't think he was awful. That was on the TV series Blade.
I'll say this. I didn't think he was a great Blade, but I didn't mind the show.
Me neither. I thought the show was kind of cool.
I actually didn't mind the show. I mean, it was clearly not the same Wesley Snipes played.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it was as good. I'm not even saying the show was great. But I watched it.
I did too.
And I got a kick out of it.
I did too.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed it.
Sticky Fingers all day. Bring back Sticky Fingers. Maybe he'll come out at D23. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. All right. So many places you can go with that. All right.
Matthew Medina says, I love how Neil Gaiman used Tolkien's work to shut down Elon Musk's hate on Rings of Power. You know, I'm not the biggest Rings of Power fan. Elon is just sexist. Galadriel's great.
Listen, I am a very proud and happy Tesla owner. I have 2 of them. Love Tesla. I love what he's doing with solar. I love what he's doing with space exploration. I love what he's doing in trying to fight climate change and all. He's one of the earliest high-profile guys to be on the forefront of, trying to battle for climate change and all that kind of. A lot of things I like about him. But here's the thing. I saw a bunch of people run headlines that, Elon Musk doesn't like. Who the fuck cares what Elon Musk likes? I'm sorry, did I miss the part where he was a Hollywood historian, or that he used to be an executive at Universal Studios or something? Who the fuck cares what Elon Musk thinks? And here's the other thing. Elon Musk said something that got me thinking about this, and it reminded me of some other things too. But like Elon Musk said something along the lines of like besides our main hero girls, like all the men are portrayed like they're idiots. It's like, I'm sorry, Elrond's not portrayed like he's an idiot. Durin is not portrayed like he's an idiot. And by the way, if you go back to almost any 80s, 90s, whatever movie, besides your guy hero, all the other guys surrounding the guy hero are usually incompetent, or usually always the police captain is usually incompetent or dumb or whatever. And everybody's fine with that. But the moment that your protagonist isn't a guy, all of a sudden, those other characters being around them, being outshone by the hero is not so bad. I heard so many people complaining about, like, I didn't like episode 1 of Rings of Power. I think I've made that very clear. But I heard so many guys complain that in that opening action sequence, when they find the frozen castle and the snow troll comes out, Galadriel springs to action. The one guy, I love that. The guy sets down his sword like it's a coordinated football play, right? The one dude, boom, jams his sword down the ground. She propels off, it goes and kicks ass, right? And everybody's like, oh, they just made the girl look ugly while the guy stood around. How many action films have we seen where the main hero guy leaps into action and takes everybody out while all his compatriots stand around? It's no different, except a bunch of small-dicked, insecure people are just completely intimidated by the fact that this time it was a girl that was doing it. Nothing else is different from tons of other popular movies and TV shows that everybody lauds and celebrates. But because... What's that?
Look at Die Hard.
Yeah, look,
Moron, man.
yes.
Him.
Every guy surrounding John
him the
McClane
watch.
is an idiot.
It's a Rolex.
Every man surrounding him is like... Hans, Bubby, like every guy, every male character surrounding John McClane. That's a great example, Jonathan. In the Die Hard movies are total imbeciles, and nobody cares because we all understand that this movie's about John McClane. We're propping up the main character. Oh my God! But as soon as it's a woman, as soon as that character's a woman, no. I mean, the insecurity. I asked this question the other day, Rob. I'll ask again. Where the fuck are the men anymore? Men have become shriveled dick, little insecure pansies. And it just, oh my God. Anyway, it frustrates me.
Mr. Takagi. Nice suit.
Nice
Be ashamed
suit.
to ruin it.
I love that line. All right, what's next?
Hero75 says, I'm going to go out on a limb and say at D23 we'll get at least still images of the main cast of The Little Mermaid as mermaids, if not a teaser.
Yeah. I mean, probably not at the main panel. They're probably not at the main presentation. But that is one that we've been sleeping on that one.
Yeah, dude, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I absolutely think you're right. I think we will get maybe even some footage.
I just want you to know that I once dressed up as Ursula the Sea Witch for Halloween.
Wait, do you have pictures?
I want pictures of this.
I do have pictures. It was back when I was married. I had vampire things, and yes.
Can you text me those pictures?
I gotta find them. But it's pretty funny.
I'm updating your contact photo.
All right, what's next?
Jose Maez says Henry Cavill joins the MCU as Cyclops.
No, but I mean, listen, I
wouldn't hate it.
I would certainly not mind it. Henry Cavill is just, me, just as long as you put in a good actor. I think I've been an admirer of Henry Cavill's acting ever since The Tudors. I really thought he was spectacular in that show, and I've been a big fan of his ever since. Obviously, he's then become my favorite Superman. But listen, there's a lot of whispers going around that he's going to get announced at D23 as something in the MCU. I don't know if I put a lot of stock on that, but I wouldn't absolutely bet against it either. So let's see what happens.
With his jawline, he'd be a great Cyclops.
He could be any comic book character with his jawline and physique.
It's true.
Let's be honest here.
It's true.
But he would make a great Cyclops.
I'd be all in.
All right, what's next?
Matthew Medina says, New Orleans Saints fan here. How do you feel that we're Tom Brady? How do you feel that we are Tom Brady's kryptonite? Sad to see about his marriage, if true. Wouldn't wish that on anybody.
First of all, every team likes to pretend they're Tom Brady's kryptonite. If any team has...
Who dat?
If any... And I'm a big Saints fan, by the way. I love Drew Brees. Love Drew Brees. That dude retired too soon. But if any team has a claim to being Tom Brady's kryptonite, if any did, and none do, but if any did, it would be the New York Giants. They would be the ones that would have a claim. But the reality is this: 7 rings proves he has no kryptonite. Tom Brady has no kryptonite. 7 rings. Say it again with me, everybody. 7 rings. He has no kryptonite. But if anybody did have that claim,
3 for the Elven Kings.
they were forged.
And 7 for the man named Brady.
I like that. But if anybody did, I think the one team that would have a claim to that, if you could at all, it would be the New York Giants. All right, what's next?
Andy says, to answer Aaron's question earlier, the proper protocol apparently is for the organizers to text and send you some vids of their previous orgies.
I don't even...
Orgies.
Oh, that's right. Aaron
happened?
was asking, what do you... She's like, you don't send invites to orgies through text. You send it in the mail. And I'm like, in the mail?
Needs like some spicy little like envelope or something.
No, she meant spicy little carrier pigeons.
With a, like lace on the envelope or something? Okay,
You
why
get
not?
Invited.
Fidelio, does that get me in?
All right, what's next?
My Comic Planet says the original stars of Lord of the Rings are coming together to plead
Yes.
for inclusivity due to the backlash against the show. It's a shame they had to do that.
Did you see this?
I did.
I think we're going to talk about it on the show tomorrow. Yeah, it's really great. The original 4 Hobbits, 3 of them together. Sam Weiss had to do it separately because he was off doing something else. But they created this shirt that's basically Hobbit and Elven ears, but they're like 7 of them, but they're all different colors. And the shirt, it's all of them wearing the shirt, and it says, all are welcome here. And I think they also write it in Elvish.
Oh, nice.
So you had the 3, you had Frodo, Merry, and Pip all together wearing the shirt. And then, why am I freezing on the name of the actor who plays Samwise? He was just in Stranger Things season 1. Why am I freezing on his name?
Sean asked.
Sean Astin, thank you. Sean Astin then posted on his own thing wearing the hat of the same thing with the all-inclusive. I thought it was a very, very nice gesture of them. Very nice gesture. All right, what's next?
Richard K says, did you see the show with Eva Green and Josh Hartnett called Penny Dreadful?
Yes.
If so, your thoughts? I did too. I liked it.
Also, Timothy Bond, Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, yeah.
Timothy Dalton was in that as well. I liked it.
I liked it a lot. It got better as it went on.
But it didn't end well.
No.
It did not end well. And then they went, instead of doing a season 2, they kind of did a spin-off series of it.
Yeah.
But right up until the end, I actually quite liked the
I liked
series.
it. It was really well made.
Yeah, I liked
Great
it.
show.
All right, what's next?
Santez Henderson says, hey guys, I just want to say that Hot D is amazing. It makes me sweat with every move the characters take. I can't get enough of Hot D.
What are we talking about?
House of the Dragon.
Oh, is that the nickname for it now? Hot D?
Hot D.
Hot D. I'm telling you what, I am flabbergasted.
It's HOTD, so hot.
House
D.
of the, got it. I'm flabbergasted how much I like this show.
Me too, dude. It's good.
Like, if I had to make a prediction going into the premiere of both episodes, my prediction would have been that, well, I mean, Rings of Power is the one I'd been most anticipating. So my guess would have been that I'd be liking Rings of Power more than House of the Dragon. To my surprise, I'm actually I'm enjoying House of the Dragon more. Again, episode 2 of Rings of Power has gotten me more back on board. We'll see if they'll be able to continue. But right out of the gate, House of the Dragon has been strong. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, all killer, no filler. We were going to talk about this on the John Campea show earlier, but we ran over time and I cut the topic. But there was a really interesting article in our friends over at Slash Film. Great outlet, by the way. If you guys don't read Slash Film, you should. But they did an article, an editorial on that the crab feeder they killed off the crab feeder too soon, right? That he's a little bit of a missed opportunity. And I was going to talk about this on the John Campea show today, but I think the absolute opposite. I think crab feeder and how they used crab feeder represents why this show is so good, which is, and we talked about this when we were talking about Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, they have every scene has a purpose. And once the purpose of that scene, whether it's to convey a piece of information, give a certain aspect to one of the characters, or to deepen the storyline, whatever that is, every scene has a purpose. And then once that purpose is accomplished, the scene ends and they move on to the next scene. Rings of Power, at least episode 1, I found that every scene had a purpose, but once the purpose was accomplished, it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And there was a lot of dead air, a lot of dead time, scenes that weren't necessary, stuff like that. When you look at Crab Feeder was never meant, you don't need to know where this happened or why he did this or whatever. He just needs to be that obstacle. And once that obstacle got cleared and the purpose of his character being there was fulfilled, they slice him in half like mom cuts your sandwiches, and now they've moved on. And that is a perfect representation of the way they have handled this whole show. And I think why it feels like it has such a tremendous pace, while I feel it is, like, again, all killer, no filler. It represents to me why this show is so good.
I totally agree with you. And the thing is, it's not just Daemon too. It was also an obstacle that Viserys wasn't dealing with.
Yes.
And
yes.
So it was doing multiple things. And when finally he says, okay, fine, I'm going to step in. And what that's going to do is the free cities are now going to be what they said in the first place. They're going to be pissed, and are you going to start a war with the free cities, which is the next obstacle that the new queen or the new king is going to have to deal with.
Yep.
So it's like the end of Act 1, the first 3 episodes. Then we got Act 2 and Act 3 coming, except Act 3 will be 4 episodes instead of 3.
All right, what's next?
I just want to say V gifted 5 memberships.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much,
All
V.
right.
By the way, we had our town hall meeting with our channel membership last night. A lot of fun. Thank you to all of you guys who are channel members and came and attended it. And now for those of you that V just gifted memberships to, you can come and join our next town hall. All right. What's next?
Sam Fisher, 1 of 2. I was so excited for Galadriel as the warrior princess because that's the archetype she fits into, is being modeled on, but she was too generic. Nothing distinguished her from the other warrior princess archetypes out there other than being Galadriel.
I have my problems with the Galadriel character. I don't agree with that one, though. I mean, when you look at her as a character, one of the things that I appreciated about episode 1, even though overall I didn't, but one of the things I appreciated about episode 1 was they instantly showed a very flawed Galadriel. She is obsessed, and she is single-focused, even to the detriment of her own people. Like, again, Rob, you and I are talking about this. I really did like the scene where we see her, she's a dick in many ways. Like, her own, like one of her own elves, like falls down and one of the other company says, wait. And she goes, no, we press forward. It's like, you asshole.
Yeah.
And she is so singularly focused, and it's irrelevant that whether she's right or not, she is so singularly focused that it's to hell with whatever other damage I cause along the way. And I find that to be very different from the archetype warrior princess stuff that we've gotten so far. Listen, I've got some other issues with Galadriel that I hope they start to evolve as we move forward, but that one is one I don't personally agree with. I don't know. What do you think about what Sam's saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, she is kind of the generic. My problem with the Galadriel is that she doesn't feel like the elven. She doesn't feel like, not that she has to be Cate Blanchett's a copy of her. She doesn't feel at all like that character. And I understand that maybe she'll grow into that because that was the third age of Middle Earth.
Well, there's 1,000 years separating where we're meeting her now, and there's going to be a lot of shit that happens to her.
A lot of stuff that goes down.
It's just change her.
I don't see that other than she just seems so, I'm going to get Sauron and avenge my brother's death.
When you go to the Peter Jackson film, though, right? And you go to when Frodo offers her the ring.
Right.
And she does it, oh, terrible queen, beautiful and terrible. And blah. It's like, yeah, that's the Rings of Power Galadriel right there.
Well, it's true.
Like,
and she did have a ring. She was one of the people that had
one of the ring bearers.
Yeah. So
it's going to be interesting to see where they go. I get it. I can already hear the people screaming at me. John, we're 2 episodes in. I know.
Because she will be getting a ring in the show.
Yes, and I think it's going to be Celebrimbor who's going to be the one that forges it, and I think she's going to get that ring. But how soon and when we're going to see that transfer? Because remember, we already saw one big transformation in her. The girl that she was, her brother's death,
Right.
and who she became after that.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be another pivotal, transformative experience that happens to her that I think is going to set her on the path to becoming more like the Galadriel we saw in the movie. Maybe. I don't know. I'm speculating now. All right, what's next?
Dr. Stinky says, hey, feeling sick, so hey.
Hey man, I hope you feel better.
Feel better,
Get well
Dr.
soon,
Stinky.
dude. Yeah, it's
Do you remember, I don't know, if you might be too young for this. Do you remember the Croft Super Show where they had Dr. Shrinker?
no.
Okay, it was Wonderbug, Electro Woman and Dyna Girl, and Dr. Shrinker. And it was a 90-minute show on Saturday mornings. Whenever I see Dr. Stinky, I think of it was Dr. Shrinker. He's a madman with an evil mind. You don't remember that?
I don't remember
Whenever
that.
I see Dr. Stinky, I think that song plays in my head.
You know my earliest cartoon that I remember,
These are live action, by the way.
and maybe you can tell me. Oh, that was live action.
Yeah, it was live
I
action.
certainly don't.
Shrinker shows up and you jump in a cool pool.
But now I want, because if anybody's going to know the answer to this, is going to be you. I think the earliest cartoon I remember watching, a Saturday morning cartoon, I think it was Hanna-Barbera. I think it was. But it was this family that had a bunch of dinosaur monsters, and one of them kind of looked like a triceratops.
Was it the Herculoids?
But it shot
Yeah, the Herculoids.
Yes,
The Herculoids.
Herculoids. Thank you.
Herculoids.
That's the earliest one I
The
remember.
Herculoids are awesome, dude. And there's Herculoids toys.
Are there?
Yeah, you can find Herculoids toys, and I don't know if the thing fires.
I just remember you.
Yeah, the Herculoids.
It shot the things out. Okay, the Herculoids.
The Herculoids.
All right, by the way, Raymond Verada knew we were talking about the Herculoids in the live chat there. Good on you, Raymond. All right, what's next?
Jose Maez. I want to say Jose. Julian McMahon returns as Doctor Doom for Secret Wars.
Hey, listen, Julian McMahon is a great actor.
He's a great actor. Dude, I was watching some old Nip Tuck episodes. I forgot how great and bonkers
You know,
that
Erin
show
was on
is.
that show.
Was she?
She played She played Julian's lover for a number of episodes.
Really?
Yeah, she had like a couple of hot.
Oh man, I
scenes
mean
with
that
Julian.
because that show's steamy.
Yeah, it was. And
I'm gonna go find out her
never
episodes. I
been-
gotta go watch
I
them.
actually think there might be little like short clips of it on her reel.
Oh, I didn't know because Julian
Yeah,
McMahon, he was so good.
Erin, she was in Nip Tuck. She was in Mad Men. She was in, she's done a lot. She was in Masters of Sex. She was in, she's done a lot of stuff.
Wow.
All right. What's
I got
next?
to watch your Nip Tuck episode. Sam Fisher, 1 of 3. A few years ago, I created an immortal detective character who was 7,800 years old, whose immortality is a punishment, and as self-penance, decided to become a member of law enforcement. My first thought was to have him as an aloof loner, hard-boiled type, but something made me want to change him into a super friendly, almost ditzy type who everyone thinks is an idiot until he proves he's been paying attention all along. Which do you prefer? You know, I like the aloof loner. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends it depends if you got an actor to play that character, because the ditzy characters bother me after a while.
You know what? There was a show. I don't know if it was a CW show or not. I know it ended up on CW Seed, which I'm not even quite sure how that network works. But the guy who played Reed Richards, I never know how to pronounce his name.
Ion, yeah.
Goefeld. I have no idea how to pronounce his name.
Phone.
But I think it's called Forever is the name of the show, where basically he's a dude he's immortal, and he somehow, like hundreds of years ago, he got cursed with immortality. Every time he dies, he just wakes back up. And oh darn. And now he's like a Dexter character in the sense, I think he's a criminal pathologist or whatever, and he solves crimes. And so it sounds a little bit like that. I like that. Oh, somebody's saying, Amy in the live chat is saying it's pronounced Griffith. So Ion Griffith? It's not spelt that way, but I totally believe you.
You know, I love the ditzy loner character, Yoda.
Yeah, but he was just fake.
But he was faking it.
Yeah.
And then because that change is so great, I cannot teach him.
Mine. All right.
I will help you not. My home this is. Richard K says, what is the best John Wayne movie? Your thoughts?
True Grit.
Yeah, True Grit's pretty damn good. I think The Searchers.
Yeah, someone argued The Searchers.
I'm going to argue The Searchers. I think The Searchers.
Cinematography, yeah, it's great.
searchers.
All right. What's next?
Virtuo Z sends in a super chat.
Thank you, Virtuo Z. Appreciate that. And is that it? And guys, boom. Can you do a quick look through, just see if we missed any from Timothy Platt? Because I think Timothy in the live chat was saying that maybe his got missed, but I don't remember seeing one from Timothy in there. Oh, no, there's one there.
No, we said that. We said with the Zap Brannigan one.
Yeah, we did get that one. So maybe that's maybe that's the only one.
I think so.
Yeah, because now we're into the shows. Yeah, we're into the John Campea show thing. So there, maybe you just missed it, Tim. Maybe you just missed it. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and joining us today and being a part of the show. Appreciate you guys being here. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the channel, thank you guys so much for your support. So tomorrow, another big day here on the John Campea YouTube channel. First of all, we got the John Campea show in the morning. Hope you guys will come and join us for that. Then at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we got our She-Hulk after show. So make sure you guys come back and join us for that as well. Also, something I forgot to announce earlier today on the John Campea show is that this Monday, right, Jonathan? This Monday.
Yeah.
Weekly Hero returns.
Ooh.
With Robert Meyer Burnett and Chris Carr. We're very, very excited about that. That's going to be a lot of trouble. So that comes in on Monday, and we're really looking forward to that. But yeah, so for myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, a big thank you to both Jonathan and Taylor, who was running the switchboard there today. And to all of you guys, my name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.